Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media. We have just finished our offshore wind panel here at Breakbulk Americas, and I have Alberto Morandi here with me from GustoMSC. He's a naval architect, new face for Breakbulk, so we're so happy to welcome you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Now, with offshore wind, certainly there is an opportunity for new ship designs. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was said in the panel, the GustoMSC was one of the pioneers of offshore engineering with the first designs of jackups and even drill ships. And I was going back to 1953 when President Bush started Zapata drilling. And although none of those technologies even existed, and in a period of 20 years they were created, and these are the technologies we use for offshore drilling today. So the offshore wind space is going through the same transformational process. And we at GustoMSC started with our first, newer designs in 2003. So there are more than 40 operating right now. And we are supporting 9 new builds of wind turbine installation vessels across the world.
That will be working here or outside the U.S.?
Mostly international, but that includes the Dominion vessel that is under construction in Brownsville, the first Jones Act compliant wind turbine installation vessel, which is I think $500 million of investment on that vessel.
Right, and that's something I wanted to ask you about. What does that mean, a Jones Act compliant vessel?
The Jones Act requires any vessel that calls into U.S. port to be built in the U.S., crewed by U.S. citizens and owned by U.S. citizens. So a foreign installation vessel can be used on the field for installation, but it cannot call into port to pick up the different components.
Oh,
now, the wind turbine installation vessel is a full solution. It's a jackup base, so it preloads its footings on the floor, gives a stable foundation. It can also transport the components. So that's why this vessel is Jones Act. Now,
is it the first of its kind?
Built in the U.S.
Yeah, in the U.S.
Because the cost of build here is essentially twice the cost of building in Asia. So that capital investment is not easy. In this case, there is a developer behind in Dominion Energy with enough projects to justify building that vessel.
So that's your customer is the energy
company? Our customer is the shipyard. We design. The shipyard is Keppel Umfeld, and their client is Dominion and CJAX, which is the minority partner which operates the vessel.
Interesting. All right. Okay.
So we need another maybe 5 of those.
Yeah.
Or solutions similar to it. So there's a lot of work. It's one of those markets that are at the start, so a lot of ideas and designs and new concepts coming out.
Right. That must be fun for you.
Yeah, it is fun. That's why I make this analogy of the early days of offshore drilling. Back in the 40s and 50s, where there were regulatory discussions. Is it even federal or state? And lots of new technologies to solve it. So we are at that point, right? The massive government pledges all over the world. I just came back from Brazil where we had a supply chain wind event. They're looking to eventually build 10,000 turbines offshore. And then you go to Canada and Romania and Australia. Everywhere is a lot of government pledges, but a supply chain that needs a lot of work.
Absolutely. So that does mean opportunity for people like you. Certainly it's a challenge, but
definitely opportunity. I mean, to me, it's always this challenge of aligning the projects with the supply chain with finance, right? Because there are no projects without a supply chain, but there's no supply chain without projects. And finance, there is plenty of capital out there, but it's very selective. I think in the oil and gas industry, we had this boom in construction of rigs, and then when the oil price crashed in 2013, there were hundreds of very expensive rigs left behind in shipyards where the owners just walked away.
Wow.
So for now, the investing community, and even with all this geopolitical uncertainty, they're very selective on investing, right? So there is a disconnect between all these pledges. We're going to have all this wind, but who is investing and how, because ports, vessels, all of this is long-term investment.
Absolutely.
If you don't have a client in the end, it's difficult to justify.
And yes. So, well, looks like we're on the brink of something really great that will provide work for a lot of companies. Over quite a few years.
Many years, and we need to make sure the U.S. captures as much of it as we can, right?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It was delightful to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.